You know, from the very earliest day of the automobile empire, there have been automobile accidents because there have been drivers that are stupid, like today, and there are drivers that just, were in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I want to share with you a few of these early accidents. They're not funny, but they're nostalgic. Okay, let me put it that way. And while I'm sharing these with you, there's going to be some clips here playing, movie clips that are not from Michigan, but they give you an idea of what was going on at this period in time, and there will be some still pictures tossed in along the way too. Okay, C.W. Calkins and James S. Bicknell were motoring down in Gratiot County one April day in 1910. And when they nicked a horse as they attempted to ease by a three-horse team, Calkins had previously braked the vehicle behind the team. But as the car passed on the left, a horse jumped. The traces jumped the traces, and the car hit it and broke the horse's leg. The farmer wanted $200 in damages, but Charlie denied any responsibility. Later, some lawyers came to Clare and tried to get him to pay $250 instead, but he rejected this offer also. When the judge rapped his gavel down on $175 during the fall term of the circuit court, Calkins decided not to let this opportunity go by, so he paid the $175 rather than the $250. Wise man. There was one thing mentioned in here that is a term that is not used today, and I wanted to find that again and explain. It said a horse jumped the traces and the car hit it and broke its leg. I would assume the traces are the tracks or the ruts that were worn in the road from the horses and wagons. So so that's kind of interesting. So let's move on to another one, shall we? 45. The automobile was now being taken for granted by everyone, including the horses, but mishaps still occurred. Dr. F. Gray upset his auto while attempting to cross over a narrow wooden bridge in the townships and was pinned under the turned over vehicle for about 2 hours' time. And another incident involved an auto which frightened William Marlin's horse. He was taking the family for a ride one evening in May, in the merry, merry month of May. Anyways, I can't remember the rest of the words of the song, but I think it would apply here if I could remember them. Anybody knows the words? Send them in the comments. Anyways, I digress, as they say. A car coming up behind the buggy caused a runaway, but first the horse wheeled around and around in the street, throwing William Marlin out. His wife and daughter were still in the buggy as the horse began tearing through the town. And acting coolly under pressure, Mrs. Marlin lowered the child over the rear of the buggy and when they reached Anderson's drugstore, and she jumped when the runaway approached the Calkins house. And the horse turned on East 6th Street and was caught when it attempted to go down towards 7th Street. Now, Dr. A. Musil, driving an Overland, which was a type of car, attempted to pass between two rigs, one of them which belonged to Mr. and Mrs. James Lower, and he hit Lower's hub, throwing Arthur Lower out of the buggy. Mr. Lower was half and half out of the buggy as his wife struggled successfully, as it turned out, to bring the team under control. In late September, Clare was having a street fair in the town of Clare, and a rope was strung across the road to keep traffic and pedestrians out, and Dr. William Clute decided that he wasn't going to let a rope keep him from driving down the street. So, aiming his auto at the center of the rope, he hit it in good lick and damaged his auto at least $144 worth, which would, in that era was a lot of money. And since the fair had been a flop, some suggested that the city might pay the damages to the doctor to reinforce the lesson that the street carnival had not been a profitable venture, but it wasn't to be. If Dr. Clute wants to take absence from good common sense, said one citizen, then he'd better pay for his foolishness out of his own pocket. And I guess I would agree with him. How about you?